welcome to the Taste China Learn English Deep Dive. If you think Chinese food is all about tongue-numbing spice or, bright red chili peppers and heavy dark sauces, prepare to have your mind completely changed today.
Oh, absolutely. It's a totally different world.
It really is. For you listening right now, our mission today is to explore the beautiful, really delicate culinary art of Jiangsu cuisine. In Chinese, this is known as sukai.
Yes.
While we
Yes.
explore the philosophy behind these amazing dishes, we're also going to learn some fantastic, highly useful English food vocabulary together.
I'm excited. So, Jiangsu itself is a really fascinating province. It's located on the eastern coast of China. And historically, well, and even today, honestly, it is famous as the land of fish and rice.
Ah, the land of fish and rice. I love that.
Right. In Chinese, that phrase is Yu Emlin Zhejiang. If you picture this region in your mind, you should imagine beautiful water towns, winding canals, large lakes, and really easy access to the sea.
Oh, wow. Sounds gorgeous.
It is. And because there is just so much water everywhere, the ingredients pulled from those rivers and lakes are incredibly fresh.
Right, the land of fish and rice. Just picturing those water towns makes me want to travel there right
I
now.
don't blame you.
But, it also brings up a contrast. When many people imagine going out for Chinese food, they imagine intense heat. Sometimes eating really intense, super spicy food feels a lot like listening to loud, heavy metal music.
Oh, that's a great comparison.
Right. It's exciting, makes your heart beat fast. You might even start sweating a bit. But it can also be a little, well, overwhelming.
Sure.
You probably do not want to listen to heavy metal music every single day of your life. So, my question for you is, if spicy food is heavy metal music, what kind of music is Jiangsu cuisine?
Well, so if spicy food is loud, heavy metal, then Jiangsu cuisine is like beautiful, soothing acoustic guitar music.
Oh, acoustic music. I like that.
Yeah, it is a quiet melody. It relaxes you. You can easily enjoy it every single day without ever feeling tired. And actually, this idea brings us directly to our first very important English vocabulary word for you to learn today.
Oh, perfect. What's the word?
They describe this type of food with a specific adjective, which is mild. Let me spell that slowly for you. It's M-I-L-D, mild.
Mild. M-I-L-D. Let's unpack this for our listeners. When we talk about food, what exactly does mild mean in practice?
So when a flavor is mild, it means it is very gentle, it is perfectly balanced.
Okay, balance.
Right. The chef is not trying to shock your tongue. A mild dish is not too spicy, it's not too salty, and it is not too sour. It is actually the exact opposite of another English word, which is pungent.
Oh, pungent. Yes, that's a strong way.
Very strong. Pungent means a very strong, sharp, almost aggressive smell or taste. Like raw garlic is pungent. Very strong blue cheese is pungent.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But Jiangsu flavors are never pungent. They are always mild.
We actually use the word mild in English for things outside of the kitchen, too.
Oh, right, we do.
For our learners, you might hear someone talk about mild weather, which means a day that is, not too hot, not too cold, or maybe a mild soap, which is gentle on your skin.
Exactly. It just means gentle.
So in cooking, if the food is mild and gentle, does that mean it lacks flavor? I mean, is it boring?
No, not at all. Actually, because the flavors are mild, they do not hide the natural, original taste of the food.
Oh, I see.
Think back to those rivers and lakes we talked about earlier. If a fisherman catches a fresh fish from the river in the morning, the chef wants you to taste that beautiful, clean fish in the evening.
Right. They don't want to just cover it up.
Exactly. They do not want to cover the fish up with, like, heavy garlic or spicy chili paste. The mild seasoning acts like a clear window. It allows the true natural taste of the ingredients to really shine through.
It is like having a quiet room so you can hear a very soft, beautiful singer.
Yes, what a great way to put it.
If the background music is too loud, you just miss all the tiny details in her voice. But wait, this makes me think of the chef's ego.
Oh, how so?
Well, usually a chef wants to impress the diner, right? They want to say, look at this incredible thing I made. If they're not using bold, crazy spices to impress you, How do they show off their skills?
Ah, that is the secret. They impress you through visual art and physical texture, and they achieve this through something legendary in Chinese cooking. We call it knife skills.
Knife skills. Okay, tell me more.
Because the flavors are so quiet and gentle, the chefs spend years, sometimes decades, really learning how to cut, slice, and chop food with absolute machine-like perfection.
I have actually seen videos of this, and it is honestly hard to believe is real.
It looks like magic, doesn't it?
It totally does. Let's talk about one of the most famous examples of these knife skills. There's a classic dish called braised shredded chicken with dried tofu.
Yes, in Chinese, this is dazangansi.
Now, for you listening, I want you to imagine a simple block of dried tofu. It's just a solid square. It is firm, dense, and quite heavy.
Right, and to transform that simple square, the chef takes a very large, heavy rectangular kitchen knife. We call this a cleaver.
A cleaver, yeah. Those are huge.
They are. And with incredible speed and concentration, the chef slices that solid block of tofu into hundreds and hundreds of tiny, perfect threads.
It is like taking a solid, hard block of wood and somehow cutting it until it turns into a pile of fine, soft silk threads.
That's exactly what it looks like.
But why go through all that physical trouble? I mean, why stand there for so long making hundreds of tiny, dangerous cuts? Most people cooking at home would just chop the tofu into normal, easy cubes. Why do we need threads of tofu?
Well, to understand the science behind this, we need to introduce our second English vocabulary word. The chef cuts the tofu to be paper thin.
Paper thin.
Yes, that is a compound word. We spell it P-A-P-E-R, then a hyphen or dash, and then T-H-I-N, paper thin.
Paper thin. P-A-P-E-R hyphen T-H-I-N. Meaning it is literally as thin as a single sheet of paper you would write a letter on.
Exactly right.
We use this phrase to describe anything extremely thin, like you might hear someone complain about paper-thin walls in a cheap hotel, meaning they can hear their neighbors talking perfectly.
Oh, yes, that's a very common way to use it. Extremely thin. But there's a very functional scientific magic behind this visual trick in the kitchen.
Okay, what's the science?
When you use your knife skills to cut the tofu to be paper thin, you create thousands of individual threads, and this maximizes the surface area of the food.
Maximizing surface area. Okay, let's explain how that works inside the soup bowl.
So imagine you drop a normal solid cube of tofu into a bowl of chicken soup. The hot soup can only really touch the 6 flat outside edges of that cube.
Right, the outside gets wet, but the
The
inside.
very center of the tofu cube stays completely dry and tasteless.
That makes sense.
But if you slice that exact same cube into 1,000 paper-thin threads, suddenly the chicken soup can touch every single part of the tofu.
Oh.
The paper-thin tofu acts like a giant, thirsty sponge. It completely absorbs all the savory, delicious chicken soup it is cooked in.
Ah, so when you pick up those threads with your chopsticks and eat them, you aren't eating plain, dry tofu at all.
Not even a little bit.
Every single paper-thin thread is carrying a heavy drop of that rich chicken soup.
Hmm.
The tofu is really just a vehicle for the soup.
Precisely. And because the tofu threads are so thin, delicate, and light, it makes the entire dish feel incredibly refreshing.
Refreshing.
Yes, and that is our third vocabulary word for today, refreshing. Let me spell it for you. R-E-F-R-E-R-E-S-H-I-N-G.
Refreshing.
Refreshing. R-E-F-R-E-S-H-I-N-G. I love that word, but I usually use it to describe like a cold drink. You know, a glass of iced lemonade is refreshing after a long run in the sun.
Sure, that's the most common use.
How do we use refreshing to describe a hot bowl of tofu soup? Well, in food, refreshing means it provides a pleasantly light, clean feeling. Think about eating a heavy winter stew with big potatoes and thick beef.
Oh yeah, that makes you want to take a nap right after.
Exactly. A refreshing dish does not make your stomach feel heavy or tired. Because this paper-thin tofu dish is mild, incredibly light, and full of clean soup, it actually gives you energy.
Oh, I see.
It is the absolute perfect refreshing dish to eat on a very humid, hot summer day in the land of fish and rice.
Okay, so we have these incredibly precise knife skills for tofu and vegetables, turning something plain into something paper thin and refreshing.
Yes.
But vegetables are already somewhat light. What about meat? Meat is inherently heavy. Surely the chefs do not apply this same delicate, careful philosophy when they are cooking a heavy piece of pork.
They absolutely applied the exact same philosophy.
Wait, really?
Oh, yeah. They have the exact same dedication to delicate texture when cooking meat.
Okay, we have to talk about the most famous meat dish in Jiangsu cuisine then. It was called the lion's head.
Ah, yes. In Chinese, shizito.
And let me just quickly reassure you listening right now, there are no actual lions in this dish. It is just a very creative name.
Yes, no lions are harmed to make this food. A lion's head is actually just a very large pork meatball.
Just a meatball. Got it.
Right. It is usually served sitting in a very clear, mild broth, surrounded by a few green vegetables. And the green vegetables sort of wrap around the meatball, which makes it look a little bit like a lion's mane.
Okay, but I am still stuck on the physics of this. When I think of a giant meatball, I usually think of something really dense, tight, and chewy.
Sure, like an Italian meatball.
Yeah, if you think about a massive Italian meatball sitting on top of spaghetti, it is delicious, but it is heavy. It feels like a bowling ball in your stomach.
It really does.
How does a massive giant pork meatball fit into this mild and refreshing acoustic guitar music we have been talking about?
Well, a giant ball of meat does sound like heavy metal music, but the secret to making it delicate is in how the chefs prepare the raw meat before it ever touches the heat.
Okay, what do they do differently?
In most places in the world, when people make meatballs, they put the chunks of pork into a metal grinding machine, and the machine quickly crushes and twists the meat together.
Right, like the standard ground meat you buy in a plastic package at the supermarket.
Exactly. But a metal grinding machine violently squeezes out a lot of the natural juices, and it forces the meat proteins to become tight and dense.
Oh, I never thought about that.
A true traditional Jiangsu chef does not use a grinding machine. Instead, they use those legendary knife skills. They take two heavy cleaver knives, one in each hand, and they finely dice the pork by hand on a wooden board. Chop, 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 for a very long time.
So they are slicing it into tiny, microscopic little cubes by hand rather than just mashing it up in a machine.
That's right.
What does chopping it by hand actually do to the physical texture of the pork?
It completely preserves the structure of the meat. By cutting it cleanly with a knife, they do not squeeze out the internal juices. They protect the tiny pockets of fat and moisture naturally found inside the pork.
Okay, that sounds amazing.
It is. And this careful technique gives us two more wonderful English vocabulary words to describe the result. First, because they keep all the juices locked safely inside, the meat becomes succulent.
Succulent.
Yes, let me spell that. S-U-C-C-U-L-E-N-T. Succulent.
Succulent. S-U-C-C-U-N-T. That is a fantastic, highly descriptive word. Just saying the word out loud makes you think of good food.
It's a great word for learners to know.
Definitely. For our learners, succulent is an adjective we use to describe food, almost always meat or fruit, that is incredibly tender, juicy, and tasty.
Right.
Like a piece of chicken breast that has been in the oven for too long is dry, it is not succulent. But a perfectly ripe summer peach with juice running down your chin,
Yeah,
that is succulent.
exactly. And this hand-diced pork meatball is incredibly succulent.
I can imagine.
And because it is so succulent, it leads to our next vocabulary phrase to describe the texture. The meatball becomes melt in your mouth.
Melt in your mouth.
Yeah.
We use hyphens to connect all four of those words together, right?
Yeah.
M-E-L-T hyphen I-N hyphen Y-O-U-R hyphen M-O-U-T-H.
Yes, perfect spelling. We use the whole phrase together as an adjective, like a melt in your mouth meatball.
Okay, so what does it literally feel like?
It means the food is so soft, so tender, and so light that it literally feels like it is dissolving, like it's turning into liquid the moment you place it on your tongue.
Wow.
Because the meat was diced into tiny cubes instead of crushed into a dense ball, you hardly even need to use your teeth to chew it.
That is incredible. By simply throwing away the electric machine and using a knife with patience and care, they take a heavy piece of pork and turn it into something succulent and melt in your mouth.
Yes, they do.
They make a giant, heavy meatball feel as light as a cloud.
It is a perfect example of why the human technique matters just as much as the ingredients themselves. The chef uses their hands to change the physical reality of the meat.
Okay, so we have the perfect paper-thin tofu soaking up the soup, and we have the perfect melt-in-your-mouth texture for the meatball. But texture is only half the battle, right?
Oh, absolutely.
You still need to season the dish. You need to create flavor. And this brings us to a specific part of Jiangsu province. Let's look at the culinary habits of a city called Wuxi.
The city of Wuxi is very famous in China, and their cooking habits are sometimes, well, quite surprising to visitors from other regions or other countries.
I've heard this. The food in Wuxi is known to be quite sweet. The chefs there love to add sugar to their savory dishes, especially when they are cooking meat like pork ribs.
Yes, they use a lot of sugar.
Now, for many people listening, adding a big scoop of sugar to a pan of hot pork sounds a bit strange. It sounds like you were trying to make a dessert out of meat.
I know it sounds odd at first.
Wait, I'm trying to think of how to explain this. Is it like, when you take a photo on your mobile phone, but you are standing in the shadows?
Sure.
The screen is too dark. You can see the shapes, but you cannot really see the details of the faces. But then you take your finger and you turn up the brightness slider on your phone screen.
Right, and it lights up.
Suddenly, all the hidden details pop out. You can see the colors perfectly clearly. Does the sugar in Wuxi cooking act like the brightness slider for the pork?
Yes, that is the exact mechanism happening in the pan. The sugar acts exactly like the brightness slider. And that brings us to our final English vocabulary word for this deep dive, which is enhance.
Enhance.
Let me spell it. E-N-H-A-N-C-E.
Enhance. E-N-H-A-N-C-E. When we enhance something, we improve the quality, the amount, or the strength of it.
Yes.
You might say that wearing a blue shirt enhances the blue color of your eyes. It makes the blue stand out more.
Exactly. In Wuxi cooking, the sugar is not there to turn the meat into sweet candy. It is used strategically as a tool. A little bit of sweetness actually enhances the natural, savory, meaty flavors of the pork.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Think about baking. When you make chocolate chip cookies, you add a little pinch of salt, right?
Yeah, always.
But the salt does not make the cookie taste salty. The salt enhances the chocolate flavor. It makes the chocolate taste bigger and richer. In Wuxi, the sugar does the exact same thing for the meat.
So the Wuxi chefs use sugar to make the pork taste more like pork. It enhances all those complex savory notes. It brightens the flavor, just like brightening your phone screen so you can see the photo.
Precisely. And honestly, this requires immense confidence from the chef. You cannot hide your mistakes in Sukai.
What do you mean?
Well, if you use heavy metal spices, if you use a mountain of chili powder or raw garlic, you can hide the fact that your fish is a little old or that your knife skills are a little messy.
Oh, right. The spice covers it up.
Exactly. But with mild flavors, everything is exposed. If the pork is not fresh, or if the chef did not take the time to dice the meat by hand, the diner will know immediately. The mild, enhanced flavors show the naked truth of the ingredient.
Wow. We've journeyed through the land of fish and rice today. Before we finish our deep dive, let's do a quick review of the English vocabulary we learned.
Good idea.
Instead of just reading a list, let's imagine we are sitting down at a restaurant in Jiangsu, experiencing all these words together.
I love that idea. So imagine you sit down at the table. You know that the overall experience of the meal is going to be mild, M-I-L-D. The flavors will be gentle, balanced, and acoustic. They will not overwhelm your tongue.
And then the waiter brings out the first dish. It is the dried tofu soup. You look closely, and you see that the chef used their incredible knife skills to cut the tofu, so it is paper thin.
Paper thin.
Paper-thin.
Oh.
The slices are as thin as a sheet of writing paper.
Then you take a bite of the tofu soup. Because the paper-thin tofu acts like a sponge for the clear broth, the dish feels incredibly refreshing. refreshing. It wakes you up, it gives you energy, and feels completely clean and light on a hot day.
Then the main course arrives. It is the giant lion's head pork meatball. You take your spoon, and because the chef patiently chopped the meat by hand with a cleaver, you find the meat is incredibly succulent. Succulent.
Yeah.
It is tender and completely full of rich, natural juices.
Next, you put a piece of the meatball in your mouth, and the physical texture is melt in your mouth. MELT-IN-YOUR-MOUTH.
Best feeling ever.
It really is. It is so perfectly soft that it dissolves like a cloud. You barely even have to chew it.
Finally, as you taste the meat, you notice a tiny touch of sugar. The sugar does not make it taste like candy. Instead, it is used to enhance the meat. ENHANCE. It acts like a brightness slider, improving and strengthening the deep, savory flavor of the pork.
Mild, paper-thin, refreshing, succulent, melt in your mouth, and enhance. When you experience all of these words together in one meal, you are experiencing the true magic of Sukai.
It is a beautiful philosophy. It is truly a feast for the eyes and a feast for the soul.
It really is. And before we go, I want to leave you, our listener, with a final thought to ponder in your own life.
Alrighty, what is it?
We talked today about how Jiangsu chefs can take the most ordinary, simple ingredients, a plain, hard block of dried tofu, or just a heavy, common piece of pork, and elevate them. They turn them into paper-thin art and melt-in-your-mouth masterpieces.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So my question for you is this. What ordinary ingredients sitting in your own kitchen right now could be completely transformed with just a little patience and a change in technique?
Oh, what a fantastic question to think about the next time you stand in your kitchen. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey today. We hope you enjoyed exploring the incredible mild food of Jiangsu, and we really hope you practice using your new English vocabulary words this week.
Yes, keep practicing.
Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel to continue learning English while exploring amazing food with us. See you at the next stop.